Hello student. The another important topic of their in the chapter first, that is biodiesels, and this biodiesels is also known as the agrofuel and the petroplants. So this biodiesel is a which fuel which can be substitute of conventional fossil fuels. It is produced from vegetable oil, animal oil, fats, tallow, and waste cooking oil. This is made by the process transesterifications, which convert oils to usable biodiesel. And this process uses strong bases as a catalyst and produces the methyl esters, which are known as the biodiesel. It can be used its pure form or blended with petroleum diesel, and it is common blend include the B2, that is 2% biodiesel, B5 and B20, and the plant species known to be good sources for the biodiesel are the Jatropha curcas, there is Jatropha, then Pongamia pinnata, Karanj, Azadirachta indica, Neem, Maduka indica, Mahua. So this is the biodiesel plants which can be utilized for the agrofuel, and it is mainly derived from the biomass and the bio-waste. These fuels can be used for any purposes, but the main use for which they have to be brought as in the transportation sector. And the most important feature of biomass is that they are renewable sources of energy, unlike other natural resources like coal, petroleum, and even nuclear fuel. So this biodiesel is grown for the biofuel, and today the use of the biofuels has expanded throughout the globe, and some of the major producers and users of biogases are Asia, Europe, and America. There are several sectors and that decide the balance between the biofuel and fossil fuel and used around the world, and those factors are cost, availability, and the food supply. There is only so much land fit for farming in the world, and growing biofuel necessary, and it detracts from the process of growing the food. As the population grows, our demand for both energy and food grow. At this point, we do not have enough land to grow both enough biofuel and enough food to meet both needs. If you are going to see this biofuel agriculturally, it is one of the products that's specially grown for the production of biofuels are United States, switchgrass, soybeans, corn, Brazil sugarcane, Europe sugarcane or sugar beet, and the wheat, and the China cassava and sorghum, Asia miscanthus and palm oil, and India is the jatropha. So this jatropha is mostly economically important in the India. That is the scientific name of this biodiesel are the jatropha curcas, and the jatropha curcas is important for their biodiesel. The current trends for this biodiesel is most gas oil and diesel fuels in North America and Europe are the blended with biofuel. Blended म्हणजे जे जे माल्ट असतो त्या माल्टपासून आपण त्याचा बायोडिझेल, त्या प्लांटच्या माल्टपासून आपण बायोडिझेल तयार करतो किंवा बायोगॅस तयार करतो, त्याला आपण माल्ट म्हणतो. दिस बायोडिझेल्स अकाउंट्स फॉर अबाउट 3% of the German market and 0.15% of the US market. About 1 million gallons of biodiesel are produced annually annually. And bioethanol is more popular in the Americas. Biodiesel is more popular in this one in Europe. So that this ethanol is added the gas line, and this biodiesel is added petroleum based diesel to reduce the emissions and improve the engine life. The applications of biofuels is it is one of the transportations leading application because vehicles require the clean, dense, high power fuels in a liquid state. ट्रान्सपोर्टेशन हे खूप महत्त्वाचं आहे बायोफ्युएल्समध्ये. ट्रान्सपोर्टेशन्समध्ये खूप क्लीनली असणं आवश्यक आहे. त्यानंतर डेन्स हाय पॉवर फ्युअल्स लिक्विड स्टेटमध्ये. नंतर दिस लिक्विड कॅन बी इझिली पंप अँड स्टोर्ड. The power generation, the solid biomass fuel like wood and heat. What is a biofuel? Biofuel, any fuel whose energy is obtained through a process of biological carbon fixation. And the carbon fixation, a chemistry process that converts carbon dioxide into a hydrocarbons and molecules a sources of the energy, and that would be found in a living organisms. If this process occurs in a living organism, it is referred to as the biological carbon fixation. The lesson learned from nature's, it is one of the photosynthesis is a biological carbon fixation process utilized by plants to obtain energy in the form of the carbon. So this nature can take this oxygen, carbon dioxide, waters, and this carbon dioxide and carbon fixation. And this advantages of this biofuel is it is a renewable source of energy. म्हणजे ही सोर्स आपण रिन्यू करू शकतो. दॅट इज अ रिन्यूएबल सोर्स आहे. इट इज लेस पॉल्युटिंग दॅन फॉसिल फ्युअल्स. इट कॅन बी ब्लेंडेड विथ अदर एनर्जी रिसोर्सेस अँड ऑइल्स, and it can be used in existing oil heating systems and engines without making any alterations. The advantages of biodiesel fuel: it is 1.5 times more expensive than petroleum fuels. It requires energy to produce biodiesel fuel from soy crops, and there is a big energy requirement for sowing, fertilizing and harvesting of the biodiesel plants, and its distribution needs huge infrastructure and skilled workforce, which makes them more expensive. So this biomass is one of the dead organic matters, and example is kernels of corn, mats of algae, stalks of sugar cane, and the types of biomass is the woody and non-woody. Examples: coconut oil, palm, the poplar, pine, generally burned to heat space or heat water to produce steam to generate electricity via a turbine generator. When utilized direct biomass. The non-woody is example corn, sugar cane, soybeans, algae, generally processed to produce different liquid biofuels. Then production and producing of the biofuel from the biomass. Biomass is a energy can be converted into liquid biofuel generally into two methods. First method is sugar crops or starch are grown and through the process of fermentation and ethanol is produced. And second method is the plants are grown which naturally produce oil such as the jatropha and algae, and these oils are heated to produce reduce their viscosity, after which they are directly used to fuel for diesel engines, and this oil can be further treated to produce biodiesel which can be used for the various purposes. So these biofuels are the counterparts are to traditional fossil fuels. Biofuel and fossil fuel. Biofuel is the ethanol, biodiesel, methanol, biobutanol, and the fossil fuel is the gasoline, ethane, that is diesel, methane, and gasoline, butane, etc. This comparing energy content, the energy content of biodiesel is about 9% that of its counterpart, the petroleum diesel. The energy content of butanol is about 80% that of gasoline, and the energy content of ethanol is about 50%. So that this biofuel carbon footprint is, most biofuels are at least as energy dense as coal but produce less carbon dioxide when it is turned. So there is biodiesels and biofuel is important naturally in the renewable resources because this is produced from the biomass or the bio waste.